my name is Teresa Valdivieso. I'm 47 years old. I was in the United States Air Force. My last base was at Davis-Monthan Air Force Base in Tucson, Arizona. Well, I grew up in a military family. The way I was raised, it was not only an honor but a responsibility. Both my parents were in the Navy. My brother was actually in the Air Force and the Army, and I had a sister that was in the Army. I was particular to the Air Force. I volunteered to go to the Gulf War. Because I was Engine 1 qualified, I was one of the first ones to deploy. I didn't have to go. They originally said, that I was a female, I didn't need to go. There were other people that could go, but I felt that it was my job, ultimately, joining the military. That is what you join the military to do, is to fight and defend your country. So I did pre-deploy and was one of the original 6 that left prior to the Gulf War being started. Within days of me being deployed, I was sexually assaulted. I did not report it, as many women don't. I pressed on with my job because ultimately the mission always comes first. They're saying now that 1 in 3 females are saying that they're being sexually assaulted, but it's not just women. Men are being sexually assaulted as well. Most women do not report being sexually assaulted, and the very few who do report it normally do not get any justification, so there's not a lot of recourse. If you do report it, your career is pretty much trashed, and if you don't report it, then you don't get the help that you need. What I did do is buried myself in my job. So my work ethics became twice as good. I was there the first one to show up at work, and I was the last one to leave at night. So no one was the wiser because I threw myself into my job. That was my way of dealing with what had happened to me. But I also started drinking. That was when I wasn't working, I was drinking. That was my way of forgetting. And somehow I was able to cope. I was able to still have a above average work performance and drink every night. And get up every morning and be the first one at the job and the last one to leave, and still be closing the bar at night. And I started getting very sick, and no one seemed to know what was wrong. I had chronic fatigue, I was in severe pain, I had memory loss, and of course the military, I would go to the VA or to active duty. I was still active duty at that time, and they would say nothing was wrong with me. But I would be in so much pain that my body would just drop. For example, I'd be on top of the airplane, and I would just drop, and they would have to send the fire department to come and get me. I was spending more time in the hospital than I was actually working on the airplane. By the time I was getting ready to be put out of the military on a medical discharge, I was up to 27 different medications, 3 and 4 times a day. But there was nothing wrong with me, according to the doctors. And I was actually starting to believe that there was nothing wrong with me. I was starting to think that maybe I was just crazy. Until one day I said, well, if there's nothing wrong with me, then why are you giving me all this medication? So I finally stopped fighting and decided that it was time to just take the military disability medical discharge and get out of the military and try and get help, because I was very depressed. I was very suicidal, and I knew I needed to find some help because I had a 4-year-old daughter and I was a single parent. And she was depending on me to take care of her.